Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be doing a comparison between two very different mice, but I actually think this comparison makes a lot of sense, and I'll tell you why. So one of these mice, the Superlight, is obviously a gaming mouse, and I've actually switched to it, and I've been using it for the past couple of months. But this mouse actually replaced my MX Master 3, which is not a gaming mouse at all. It's actually mainly geared for productivity. So after switching to the Superlight, mainly because of the gaming benefits, obviously, I wanted to see how much of a difference getting a gaming mouse actually makes in 2021. And these two mice are very pricey, both of them. MX Master still goes for around $100, and the Superlight is still around $150 at MSRP. Alright, now the first thing I want to talk about comparing these two mice is what I think was the biggest change that I felt, which is the weight and the shape. So this mouse on my scale weighs 61 grams. It's advertised to weigh sub 63 grams, which is really light for a wireless gaming mouse. But then we see the MX Master, and this thing weighs around 140 grams, which 140 divided by 60, and that's 2.3 times heavier, which I'll tell you wasn't great for gaming. It really felt slow in game, and in a game like Valorant, which is really fast paced, it was just really sluggish and not tiring to move around. I didn't really get any wrist strain. It wasn't that bad, but it was not comfortable. And then I tried the Superlight. It felt fast, nimble, and just way easier to make micro adjustments or big arm swipes. That in combination with the decently smooth 100% PTFE feet on the mouse meant that the gliding experience was really good, even on my glorious cloth mousepad, which is a pretty generic cloth mousepad. Then we take a look at the MX Master, and oh dear, these things are thin. And after using the Superlight feet, this felt significantly scratchier, and that plus 140 grams was really not fun to glide around the mousepad. Now, a lot of people have been saying that the Superlight also has relatively thin stock feet, but that just wasn't an issue for me. These have absolutely huge surface area of glide pad, which you can increase more with the included puck. And again, it felt really smooth. I also want to talk about the shape, which is 100% personal preference, but I wouldn't say the Superlight is necessarily better than the MX Master for everything. Now, for gaming, I definitely prefer ambidextrous mice. I'm sure of that. I don't know why, it's just for my grip in gaming, which is claw, it just feels way better for me. But the MX Master, you see the ergo shape, the comfort grooves. This thing was way better for every other task other than gaming, which is the only reason I will still be keeping around the MX Master. Now, the problem with the ergo design is that because of this shape, the MX Master felt terrible in terms of weight balancing, super back heavy, where the Superlight on the other hand has near perfect weight balance, which isn't that important in game necessarily, but it just was a quality of life thing, you know. It kind of makes it feel more premium. I don't know. Trust me, you'll know when you see it. You always want a well-balanced mouse. Okay, now I want to talk about the clicks. So the Superlight uses Omron 20Ms, and I couldn't actually find out what switches the MX Master 3 has. But the point is that the switches are pretty different. The Superlight has a much tighter feel. Now, I don't know if that's because I've broken in the MX Master and used it for much longer or not, but I think people hate on Omron 20Ms a little bit too much. I think these are fine. They're more tactile than the MX Master. They seem to have a way shorter travel distance, which all contributes to them feeling way better in game. Short travel is great, relatively sharp clicks, and they're not TTC golds or anything. And for the $150 price, you might want to see a little better, but they're honestly fine. And here's a quick sound comparison between the two. The side buttons are not good on either. Like, the ones on the MX Master don't even feel like they have a click. They're terribly mushy and small, not great for gaming, easy to miss. And the ones on the Superlight at least sound clicky, but they still seem to have a little bit of play, which isn't that noticeable in game when you're pressing them really fast, but it's still worth mentioning. Something that's pretty weird as well is that the games that I've tried don't recognize the side buttons of the MX Master at all. Like, Valorant just doesn't let me assign them to anything, which is pretty weird. Here's a sound test of the two side buttons side by side. And the scroll wheel is pretty different, so for gaming, again, I mean, it's a gaming mouse, it's obviously going to be better at gaming. The scroll wheel on the Superlight was much better, with way more defined steps. I don't actually use the scroll wheel in game though, so that doesn't really affect me. Now the Superlight has a really cool scroll wheel though. It's called mag speed, and it can switch between ratchet mode and free scroll really easily, which is great for productivity and quickly scrolling through long documents, which is another reason I'm going to be keeping the MX Master around, along with its vertical scroll wheel, which is super useful in video editing. And finally, we have the sensor, which I honestly thought the difference was going to be a bit bigger, but it was closer than I expected. Now, Logitech's Hero sensor is way more accurate than the Dark Core in the MX Master, which can apparently track on glass, which is cool, although definitely I would still be recommending a mousepad. I didn't notice any difference between the sensors in normal use, but in gaming, the Superlight definitely felt more responsive, as it should have. Now, this wasn't a full review of each mouse. I actually have a full review of the MX Master on the channel already, so I'll link that below. And if you want more content about the Superlight, then comment down below if you want to see a full review of this mouse. But other than that, I don't have much else to say about these two mice. I guess the conclusion is you can't get away with using a productivity mouse for gaming still in 2021. But that's fine, and I'm sure a lot of you already knew that. But anyways, still thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.